It's time to let it flow. It's time to let it flow. Yeah, it's time to let it flow. Yeah, it's time to let it flow. It's time to let it flow.
All right, welcome to next episode of Let It Flow. Got some special guests with me. What's good, dog?
What's going on, man?
How y'all doing? How y'all doing?
Good, great.
So what's the name of y'all's business?
Millionaire Essentials. I'm Brandon, the provider. It's my partner.
Yes, sir. Tevin, Facey. Millionaire Essentials, man.
I see it on the hat. I like it.
Yeah,
That's the gear right there?
Yeah.
it's the merch.
Yes, sir.
It's the merch we
Yes,
have
sir.
right here.
Got it on the back, too, for them.
I like that. I like the font.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
dope.
Mm-hmm.
Dope.
So how long y'all been in business?
We've been in business for, what, three years? About 3 years now?
Yeah.
We've been in business for about 3 years now, but we've been in the industry each for about 5 years now.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So what do you guys do?
So we help businesses access capital to start or to scale. So we basically help you leverage your personal credit in order to get funding to put in your business.
Okay. Nice.
Simple. Straight to the point.
So you help businesses get money.
Basically, we help you get the bag. We help you get the money. So a lot of people, they say when they start in business or entrepreneurship, they problem is capital. So that's actually that's probably one of the easiest parts if you know what to do. If you really know how to leverage the banks and know the rules of the game.
Right. Yeah, a lot of people think it's harder than it is.
Yeah. I mean, it's not easy, but it's a lot easier than what you really think it is.
What got y'all into it?
Really, in New York, we from New York. So if anybody that's from New York know about the train system. I worked in the train system, right? I used to build and repair the tracks. You ever been to New York?
Nah, I never been to New York yet.
All right, so we went on public transportation, trains and buses.
Right.
Run the city. So I used to build and repair the tracks, right? City worker. But as I'm working there, kind of like the corporate life, retirement, 401k, XYZ, I realized very quickly I don't want to sit here and work for 30 years and retire. That's not the life I want. I want to build the life that I want, and I want to create what I want. And by doing that is getting into entrepreneurship, getting into owning, getting into wealth building, and kind of setting a narrative the way I want to set it.
So what about you?
I mean, very similar. Work with the city. Work with Con Edison. That's the electrical company out in New York. I help repair and switch out a lot of the meters inside of New York. So electricity runs the world. So, I mean, why not stay in there, right? That's the most security. But same thing, I had a daughter at a younger age, so just wanting to find something that could give me more time. So time was my deciding factor. And then just from there, I found out real estate was one of the biggest generational wealth building tools. Mm-hmm. Wanted to get into that. I didn't have all the capital, so I got funding. I had to get funding by paying somebody. I said, all right. I mean, it's a risk, but it was a reward, and I got the reward. So with that being said, I just turned it around from there and just figured out how can I do it more for myself, and then try to figure out how can I do it for more people. So then from there, that's how Millionaire Essentials got birthed. Just figuring it out, like how to be the middleman and systems and operations behind it. That's really it.
Y'all are helping people.
Yes. So we help people get access to the capital. So like you said, that they can start, grow, or scale their business. So, whatever part of the business journey they're in, that's where we step in and try to help you basically elevate, because we didn't have the money to do what we wanted to do, especially in New York. So our mind was only limited to New York at that time. So it's like, all right, you need at least $100,000 or more to do any type of real estate, whether it's New York or even Jersey. So I don't have $100,000. I never saved it. So now we can get you $100,000 faster than you can save $100,000. Mm-hmm. So that's one of our models too.
Right. So in y'all opinion, what's the biggest mistake most people make who are trying to build wealth and they just can't seem to figure out how to do it? What's the biggest mistake most people are doing, young people specifically?
Not having a plan, not really taking the time to really lay out a plan on what you're going to do, what I'm going to do this year. We were just talking a little bit about the plan you said you had, right, when you came out here. If you look at most successful people, they start out with a plan. Before you even talk about getting the money and want to do this, break down a plan and steps on how you're going to get from A to Z. A lot of people are not making business plans. What I'm going to do this quarter, what I'm going to do next quarter, what I'm going to do for the year. I want to make $1 million for the year. I like to say reverse engineer. How you going to make $1 million? How many products you got to sell a month? How many people you got to speak to? How many people you got to speak to close that many people? So really laying out a plan to be successful. Like people out here like the Wild Wild West thinking it's so easy. You're going to get out here do this, this, and this. Till you get out in the real world and you realize it's so many variables. It's not like that. And you lost. That's because you're not accounting for everything that could possibly happen. So making that plan, and no matter what you're doing to be successful, is the real key. And that's, I think, what's missing with a lot of young people. They watching too much and not really executing and learning.
Right, because one thing you said is like A to Z. A lot of people are making A to B, A to C, A to D, maybe A to F even. But A to Z is a whole different thing. If you're making a plan from A to Z, that means you're thinking of every possibility. If this doesn't happen, I can do this way. Or after you get this done, what's next? Because a lot of people get the first goal done and they don't know where to go next.
Yeah.
But if you had the plan already set, and then from A to Z, you know exactly what to do next. So you can never get lost in your path. So for sure.
Exactly.
What about you?
I always stand on him with that, with the plan, because I mean, even inside of that plan, like if you don't have the right credit that you need in order for you to actually be able to access capital or even get to that point, that's the next option in your plan, right? So after you've devised your plan and put it all together, what's the next option? All right, cool. Is my credit there in order for me to even be able to access the capital that's necessary? But there are other banks out there and financial institutions that would lend you capital in order for you to grow and scale your business or even start it based upon your plan. So having that plan is super important. So that for me is super important as well. That's the first thing and the first step you should do in this entire business journey. I mean, we only learned that because maybe we went through some of the failures of trying to get here, right? So we're not about to sit here and act like we perfect. We ain't gonna act like, we ain't trying to put money over there and put money over here, put money over there. But then when we came together and said, all right, this is our plan, let's stick to it. And we did. And I mean, Millionaire Essentials, we became a millionaire by having this business.
Right. I feel like a lot of people don't realize that the perfect plan is a whole bunch of L's strung together in a certain way that it creates a W. Like, nobody just has the first plan and they just make it. I mean, I ain't gonna say, like, there's some people who get lucky.
Some people get lucky.
Yeah.
And that's what happens. Yeah.
But most people have to sit there and just lose and lose and lose and lose and try things, and then finally they're able to find that W. So the perfect plan is a whole bunch of L's perfectly arranged into a W. Yeah.
And even getting lucky, I don't get lucky is being prepared for opportunity. So like luck is when you're already prepared for when it comes your way.
Yeah.
So for example, like a lot of people, opportunity can come their way and they still can't do nothing with it because they don't even know how to recognize opportunity or be prepared for it. You have to be prepared for it too at the same time. Mm-hmm. Like for example, if I put $1 million in your lap, that don't mean you're going to make 2 million. You have to be prepared to know what I'm going to do with this $1 million. So a lot of people always want to say, I want to access capital, and they don't even know what to do with it. They don't know how to turn $1 into $2.
Right. If you get that capital, you don't do nothing with it, you're going to be in debt. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to have a good plan. I mean, we've all made that mistake. Got the money and didn't know how to flip it. But after you do that, because I was just thinking about it. A W is it 2 L's?
It is. It's 2 L's put together.
A W is 2 L's.
But that's
so
the
it
lesson.
Takes 2 L's to get the W.
Exactly.
You know
and that's the lesson that puts it together to make the W.
Yeah. But it's all about, did you learn? It's only a loss if you didn't learn the lesson.
Correct.
If you learn the lesson in it, and then it's just a lesson.
Exactly.
Really a loss. It's like you paid that to learn that.
Facts.
You know, just like if somebody like steals $20 from you, it's just $20, and you know they stole it. It's like, okay, I paid $20 to know who you are. I'll take that loss because now you ain't gonna be around me.
No, facts.
You know what I'm saying? So that's just really like how all losses are.
Yeah, that's fact. I like that.
Yeah. So in y'all's opinion, like, why do you feel like most people are going broke in 2025? Like, what's the thing that's causing a lot of people to go broke these days?
I mean, it's a statistic that's out right now that like people, like, we're in the highest form of debt right now. Like, the country is in the highest form of debt, but I think the problem is that from 2020, what was that? What was COVID? 2021? Mm-hmm. 2020. 2020 to 2024, I think there's been more than enough information out there in order for you to make money, right? I think now in 2025, well, we were saying in 2024 people were supposed to execute, but they weren't. So now 2025, all right, cool. Hey, everybody, you're supposed to execute on the information that was given for the past 3-4 years. So I think maybe the information and maybe them not learning certain things, I think that's the reason why a lot of people are going broke. That because now they could be, and it could be two things. It could be one, that they're not investing enough, or they're just not investing, period. And they're just going based upon them working. And two, they just may not know, right? It's not the art of not knowing, but it's literally, if you don't know anything, then how are you going to get to the place of even thinking that, hey, I do need to invest. Hey, I do need to fix my credit. If you've only been around a certain environment that's showing you something that you don't have. Mm-hmm. What's your take on it?
I agree.
So I don't think people are going broke. They just not being successful. They probably already broke. So I think people are trying to get microwave results, and that's the problem. Like social media is great. The age we're in is incredible, but it kind of is. The rich are going to get richer and the poor are going to get poorer, because like opportunity, like I just said, if you don't even know how to take advantage of opportunity, how much social media can make from you, you're not going to know how to use it. If you don't know what to do with $1 million, you're not going to know how to turn it into $2 million. So Usain Bolt, he said, he trained 4 years for a couple seconds. Like, you understand what that means? He worked 4 years just to run a couple seconds. Most people are still broke because they don't understand how much hard work that takes. They think because of YouTube, I'm going to get rich in 6 months. And if that don't work, then I'm going to go try trucking. If that don't work, I'm going to go try real estate. If that don't work, you just keep quitting. You just keep quitting. You don't know how to grind for 4 or 5 years until it works. That's why most people are going to stay broke.
That's the facts, bro. Is that people, and I think that TikTok and a lot of just in social media comparing themselves to other people they're seeing become successful in what they think is a short time. Some people, like, there's going to be your LeBrons and there's going to be your Jordans. There's going to be those people who are naturally good. Like, they worked hard, but there's a lot of natural ability too there. That's why they become the greatest. And it goes the same way in content creation or whatever you do. There's going to be people who can step in, get in front of that camera and just go viral. Maybe they just have a crazy look in their eyes when shit goes down. Whatever it is, people gravitate to that content. Not everybody's going to have that. Not everybody's going to make $1 million in 6 months, is basically what I'm saying, that microwave blessing. So it's like people expect it to happen fast. And what the problem is now is people will end up quitting. They're too quick to quit. Because you're like, I didn't get what they got. That person, the other person I knew, they did it quicker, so I'm going to quit. Now they go to the next thing. They do that for a short time, they quit. Like, do you think that anybody who's great quit? Do you think that anybody who's a millionaire or a billionaire in investing in doing finances quit?
Nah.
When they took an L?
Bro. They persevered. There was no way. If they quit, they wouldn't be where they're at. And that's the point of entrepreneurship at that point, right? It's perseverance at its highest peak, because even in your wins, you could be winning so much that when a loss comes, you think that person's going to stop because just a small loss or even a big loss came? No, they're going to keep going. Like, in order for you to get to where you need to be, whether it's a millionaire, whether it's 200, 300, 400, 500, whatever your goal is, you have to persevere. Like, if you don't learn nothing from this podcast or from any podcast, and seeing people that are consistently on YouTube, seeing people that are consistently on Instagram, TikTok, whatever other social media platform there is, it's the consistency of actually persevering through their life. Because you don't know what they're going through on the back end. You don't know what a millionaire is going. You know what like that is super important that people don't see. But they see you online, they see jewelry, they see this, they see that, so they believe it's easy.
You know what's crazy is a lot of people who are successful in life, the thing that motivated them, the thing that made them persevere was the pain. Correct. It was the things they went through. It was the things they faced. That's the real thing that motivated them. Maybe they lost somebody close and they want to make them proud. You know, it's like, and a lot of people get the opposite reaction. The difference between a winner and a loser to me is what they do when something bad happens. Like, are you going to be motivated by it, or are you going to be torn down by it? Because people who are torn down by it, they give up. You know, the other people go harder. Which one are you? Which one are you going to be?
So it's like I see a lot of people, just what's going on in California, right? A lot of people talking about the wildfires, and I was hearing a lot of people saying, "Oh, some people deserve it. Oh yeah, that's the rich. They'll be all right. So it's horrible that we in such a state that, or people in such a bad situation that they lose humanity. Like people lose the sense of humanity, and that's what's going on nowadays. Like these people, everybody's still people. No matter if you have money or don't have money, it's still humans. We still breathe, talk the same, have emotions. If no matter how much money you have, you lose a house, your house got burnt down. Like you lose things that's valuable to you. It's not all about money. There's things that are valuable. That's memories that you can't calculate.
Right.
Memories, possessions, as far as pictures, you can't get back.
Right.
So like we need to come back to being people and really like growing with each other.
We got to become one as a society. I feel like that's the only way to go. There's so many things that separate us: religion, race, money.
Do that. To be honest,
But you would think, but COVID separated us more because the whole 6 feet thing. It was like it put us in this mindset where it's like, whoa, hold on. Like before, people didn't. If you coughed, people would be like, didn't think nothing. Now they're like, oh damn, you coughing? Like you good? Like what's you know what I mean? Like it's a whole other vibe, especially in New York. You know what I mean? Right. Even worse because of how it went down. Mm-hmm. So it's like it created a distance between people. But like 9/11, in the past, have been things that have happened that have brought us together. But there's always going to be them things that bring us back apart. And plus us being alone for so much quarantine, it had people at home like feeling like they don't need to be around nobody. Like it made people more loners. Now, people don't really want to go out as much as before then.
Yeah.
It changed the whole society. Just like that in so many ways. And you know what? Finances. Crazy, because all the prices have gone up since then.
Yeah, inflation.
Inflation, crazy. I mean, it's just, everybody's been affected by it. I feel like last year was a bad year for most people, like financially. I mean, if you're in the right markets, but I feel like the average person, though, suffered in the last couple of years. Like, they were just having hard times getting by.
I mean, the working. If you're talking about, what do you mean specifically? Who suffered?
I feel like just the way the economy is, the inflation as opposed to like what people are making. I feel like the last couple of years, people have felt it.
The masses is always going to suffer, is because of the way the system is. Mm-hmm. The system is designed for the masses to always take the brunt of the hit. Because if I'm not even like speaking like we're a side. We're part of the masses too. Like unless you're in a category of where it doesn't affect you, where you're in control or have more control of what's going on, like you can sway the market, you're always going to be affected in some type of way. But the key is to know how to navigate through the system. So the system goes up and down. Everything's cyclical. Stocks, real estate, it goes up, comes down, goes up, comes down. You got to know when to invest over here, invest over there, invest over here, invest over here. So like diversify and really know where the money is and know how to really scale and keep wealth. Most wealthy families, they put their money in different places. They move their money around. They know how to take money out of here and put it over here because this is moving. So we got to start learning and following the wealthy people, the wealthy families. And I think that's what's missing in like the most of the masses' education is follow, instead of complaining about the rich, follow what they doing. It's really just that ideology is that simple.
Something that you said earlier, really, that's still in my mind, is when you said reverse engineering. You got to reverse engineer them, those rich people.
Yes. Yeah, bro. That's all. I mean, to be honest, we see it on a daily basis, bro. Like they show it to us literally on CNN, the news. Like they show what they're doing, and even if you don't learn anything, and I'm gonna say it one more time, the consistency of what they're doing, that alone is a different mindset. So if you don't understand that, then how are you even gonna be successful? You get what I'm saying? So that's something that I look at too.
I mean, all success takes consistency. You got to do the same thing over and over. And every time you do it, you learn something and you do it a little bit better next time. And you do it over and over, just that people quit. At some point in time, they just quit. We talked about it earlier. It just didn't go fast enough. That cycle of learning and doing the next cycle, they just were like, I don't know, I can't do the next one, Whatever it is they do, and they quit. But you just have to keep going. Like, you got to be a little crazy to be successful. You got to see a vision of something that really only you can see. You're like, I'm gonna be a millionaire. People are like, yeah, okay. You know what I'm saying? They might not say it, but they think it, especially after like 6 years passes or 10 years passes, and you're still like, I'm gonna be a millionaire, you know. But you just have to keep going because most millionaires are not in their 20s or their teens or their 20s, 30s, even 40s. It's probably when most millionaires are born, you know, is in their 40s.
But see, this is what they don't know, or they don't see. Or what they see is everybody's a millionaire at 2021. Everybody's Kai Cenat, or you know what I'm saying? That's what they see. That's what they think. Yo, I could be a millionaire by 22. No. It takes time. It takes time to get there. Like, and this is not a joke, but when JC said 40 is the new 30, that's true. Like, 40, you really just getting go as far as building wealth, you just scratching the surface.
Right.
You just scratching the surface.
Right.
I mean, so at that time, like, even now, right, the information that we're learning now is kind of hyper speed in that even entire process. So people back then during his time of him saying, yo, 40 is like 30 is a new 40 or 40 is a new 30 of when you're becoming a millionaire, bro. There's people that can do that now at 28, 29. And the reason why I'm saying those later years is because you can do it at 21, but those are anomalies.
Yeah.
But the amount of information there is now that's out, you can do it at 28, 29. You can actually put the hard work in and grind. You can now get there. And something that Brandon always breaks down is you already a millionaire. Everybody on the earth is already a millionaire because they are going to make $1 million.
Yeah.
It's just not going to be now, or it's just not going to be when they want.
Right.
What you always say it takes the average income in America is $40,000 a year. If you work for 40 years, that's over $1 million that you would have made. So you already a millionaire. It's just we're gonna figure out how we can do that literally next year or right now. So I think that's the difference of mindset that for people like us, that we can spread the positivity and saying, hey, understand how to actually do some of the small things so that you can get there. You may not get there right now, but it's going to take time. Just have patience. It took me time to get to where I'm at, even to fix my own credit. It took me time at one point, but I got there. So,
right. I feel like one of the first things a lot of people need to do is fix their credit. You know, like if you're trying to get into a big business venture, you're trying to get capital for a business, if you have good credit, it's going to be easier. And I think a lot of us don't have good credit. But I will say this. I feel like with generational wealth, I feel like a lot of people, you know, a lot of us don't have that. A lot of us weren't born with generational wealth. You know, we born with their parents. They were doing as good as us or better or maybe a little worse, whatever. They weren't rich. So I feel like people have to realize that generational wealth is more than just money. Like at this point in time, like generational wealth is really about knowledge. It's about giving that generational knowledge. Like, I don't think people realize that. They'd be like, if you're able to give your kids all the knowledge you have and they can learn from all the mistakes you make, a lot of people aren't willing to admit when they're wrong to their kids or tell their kids, I did this wrong. I shouldn't have did this. Like serious mistakes they made in their life. If you can be open and accountable with your kids and tell them what you did wrong and let them get that generational knowledge, because they can take the generational knowledge and they can turn that into generational wealth. You see, so it's like it's all about how it begins. How did the original generational wealth that the people have start? It started with knowledge. Right. It started with them having the gain from somebody, and then they took that and they started a business. And that business might not have been enough, but the next generation made it something big. But generation, you can do it quick now, like you just said. You can create generational wealth by the age of 29. But if you don't give your children that generational knowledge, and then it's just going to be you had money, they didn't. It's just a cycle. So it's like we have to break out that cycle as families.
Yeah. You ever heard that saying about the man that walked to school?
The man that walked to school? No.
Yeah. So there was a man, he used to walk to school, right? He had a son. His son rode his bike to school. Then he had a son. His son drove a car to school. Then he had a son. So eventually his great-great-grandson end up walking to school again.
Mm-hmm.
Because unless you have something in place, like you were saying, a lot of millionaires' kids, billionaires' kids, they mess the money up. And they end up like the Vanderbilts. I don't know if you know the story of the Vanderbilts. So Rockefeller and the Vanderbilts, they were both running the country as far as railroad barons. The Rockefellers still is one of the wealthiest families in history. The Vanderbilts' wealth is no more. Because as it got passed down generation to generation, they kept squandering the money because they didn't know what to do with it. So one of the biggest issues, a lot of us actually have wealth somewhere in our family. A lot of us get grandmother's house passed down. Parents died, they get a house passed down. They get some insurance money. They get a little insurance lick. What we do with it? We blow it. We spend it on something, a one-time purchase, and that's it. We don't keep it going. We don't keep it in the family. Keep this house in the family. Take the equity out, invest it. Make $1 turn into $2. Make $2 turn into $4. That's the problem. We don't know what to do with the wealth.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely true, and that's exactly what it is. But as I feel like I could have the perfect plan to give my children generational knowledge and wealth, but if they don't take that and do the same thing again, and then
Well, one more thing. So I think now in the information in the era we in of knowledge, we can do that. So let's just say you're the first millionaire, billionaire in your family. Now it's your job to keep that in place for your great grandkids. So that's something like what the Rockefellers did, setting up a trust, so it could be managed the right way and passed down. So now you could set up something that's managed by a family generations down. That's how the Rockefellers' wealth stayed in place. He set up a family trust. So you can't just, the great-grandson can't just go in there, take all the money out and mess it up. There's rules in place for every generation. So that's thinking far and beyond.
Yeah, and now even with like video and content, you can leave behind stuff that they'll receive once they reach a certain age, on and on and on and on. Correct. Through time. So there's ways you can do it now. But I feel like this is an important conversation because we can do this. And even if like, let's say we become millionaires, that still could be something that could become the beginning of generational wealth, that become billionaires in the future if we do the things that we're talking about. People get that money and blow it. And then they're able to tell their kids, I used to have money. It's like we have to think ahead. That's why it's important for people to work with people like you to learn how to expand that money. Correct. You know what I'm saying? So it's 2025. What do you guys feel like are some smart investments to make from somebody with a small budget to a large budget?
For people like a smaller budget, I would say this. I think what you should start doing is, if you don't already have your credit fixed, that's your first step. Fix your credit, right? Outside of if you haven't created that business plan as yet, or even a plan in general to even invest your money, right? Because we're talking about a plan, but it doesn't have to be a business plan. It could be a regular plan on, okay, cool. If I have $50,000, this is exactly what I want to do. I want to put it in the stock market. I want to get dividends for a certain amount of months or years so that now I can take that money and reinvest it back into like real estate or something that can build some type of generational wealth as you continue to move forward. But in my opinion, real estate and buying a business right now might be the best two investment options there are. And this is just my opinion. I've gone through a lot of different businesses, lost money in a lot of different businesses. But in real estate, I've never lost money. In buying a business, I haven't gotten there yet, in which this is actually something I'm looking to do in 2025. Because I've gotten to that point, like, okay, cool, I have this much amount of money, now I can go invest. So those are my two main things that I'm looking to do right now. Real estate and what? Real estate and buying a business. Okay. Yeah, so buying a active business that's currently making income and revenue and actually has active cash flow and positive cash flow at that. So looking in specific industries that are going to be recession proof, right? So like a car wash, there's always going to be cars. Right, home healthcare industry. People are going to die every day, but before they die, they're going to need help. So the people with disabilities, there are always going to be disabilities. So things like that, those are recession-proof industries. So those are smaller things you can invest into, right? Not every business out there is $1 million. Some might be 100, some might be 200,000. And you can start to use like SBA to invest into those things if you have good credit and you have a little bit of capital, because. And when I mean a little bit of capital, it could be between like $20,000 to $100,000. And right, we're talking about the smaller budget at this point. So if you take that $20,000 or $100,000 and you purchase or you try to purchase a business, let's say the business is worth, they're selling the business for $1 million, but it's bringing in $300,000 every single year. If you go to SBA and invest. Try to purchase that business for 10%, right? So with SBA, you can purchase the business for 10%. It's $1 million. That's $100,000.
That's all you got to put down?
Yes, but there's actually a nice little hack to it too, and I just learned about this. I'm always learning. So you can actually ask the owner of that business to hold a $100,000 note for you. So they'll still get paid out the $1 million. They'll hold a $100,000 note, and all you have to do is put 5%, not 10. So all you have to do is really put $50,000 down instead of 100. So now you've held back an extra 50, and you only put 50,000 on $1 million business that's generating 300,000 per year.
Wow.
So now you have $300,000 coming into your pocket every single year. All you got to do is pay the seller back as well as your SBA, and it's going to cover that because the SBA is going to go through all of those paperwork in order to make sure that this business is viable and it's going to continue to keep making money for the next 10 years because that's when they got to keep collecting.
Dang, that's some game right there.
Yes, sir.
50 bands to get 300 a year. You just got to keep paying back the.
Just got to keep paying back the note, pay back the seller, and that's it. And you can do this debt based too, so it doesn't have to be $50,000 that you had in your pocket. You can use $50,000 off of a 0% interest credit card from Chase or from a Citizens Bank, or we in Texas, so like a U.S. Bank or Energy Bank. Like you can go to those specific banks, get some form of debt, whether it's a business credit card, a line of credit, or a loan, and now use that money, the $50,000 from there, to invest, and then pay it back off of the 300. So you're gonna pay it back in the first year.
So you could do this with $0.
Exactly. So that's a smaller budget.
That's a great plan right there.
I mean that's deep plan. I ain't trying to top that. Well, that's if you have that's a small budget. That's a big budget, bro.
That's a small budget.
Well, wait, $0?
It's
$0?
$0.
Oh, so you want me to create somewhere if you have like
A bigger budget.
Yeah, some sort of investment you can make if you got a pretty good investment of my money.
well, definitely like you said, buying businesses I think is up there number one. So I'll break it all down how I would picture it, right? In a perfect world, right? So say you came into some inheritance, right? You sitting on a bunch of money. The first thing,
What you say, 500, $1 million?
say you sitting on $1 million. You need to make steady investments. So definitely just put in some steady stocks, right? First thing I would invest in, you don't know nothing about financial literacy, invest in life insurance. Because that's the thing you don't have to know anything about, but you're going to secure your future. Something happens to you, you're setting your family up. And this is something that a lot of us take advantage of. You're setting your family up to be okay if something happens to you. Invest in life insurance. That's number one. Because now you have $1 million, you're worth something. So now get $1 million life insurance policy. And you want to build up interest and over time by investing in the life insurance policy. So you're going to build up cash value in there too. So that's an investment you don't have to. That's damn near guaranteed.
And get paid dividends on it too.
You get paid dividends and you're building up cash value inside your policy. Wow. So that's invest in life insurance. That's number one. Number two, park some money in some stocks that have been performing. Study the stocks, but there are stocks that have been performing incredible over the last 10 years. Park your money in some steady stocks. So now you get a little 8 to 10% return. So now you're getting some steady returns over the years, right? You're getting some safe returns. And I would buy businesses like he said. So a lot of us are taught to start our business from scratch. Billionaires buy businesses. You see billionaires buy sports teams. They don't even know nothing about the sport. They don't have to, because you know why? They just know how to manage and hire the right people.
Wow.
Billionaires buy a bunch of businesses they don't even know nothing about, but what they do know about is the numbers. They look at those numbers, they look at those charts. Hey, this is worth this. Buying it for this is a good investment, so I'm going to put it in my portfolio. You don't have to know about the business to buy it. All you have to really know is numbers. Now, I would say, do some research, obviously, about the business so you know what's going on. But all of us are told, hey, start this business from scratch. But like we were saying earlier, that's how we're taught to think as 9-to-5ers and workers. So when we're taught to think on a higher level, if I have $1 million right now cash, I'm buying an existing business that's already cash flowing. A lot of the baby boomers that are retiring, they're all selling their businesses. Why? A lot of them are because of what you said. Their kids don't. All their kids don't want to be entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
Their kids don't want to take businesses.
Yeah.
They're gonna cash out, move to Florida, and retire. There are a lot of businesses for sale right now. You buy a business that's already built up in place. Give them an offer. Yeah, we see it on TV all the time, but we don't
Shark
think about
Tank.
doing it. That's what Shark Tank is all about. Investing in businesses. That's what it's all about.
Man, you just made me realize something, bro. It just blew my mind. What you're saying is that us people who are out here like innovating and creating new businesses, are we're really just working for the machine. Because the machine is here to come through and take that. Be like, oh, good idea. Oh, I like how you did it. All right, let me buy that. Like, we're really only here to create their future. How many big businesses came from somebody like me or you? You know, we don't really know a lot about the industry, but we got a good idea, but we don't have no money to put into it. And then somebody comes through with the money, takes a business, and now it's $1 billion business. We're like, dang, I sold that shit for like $254,000. You know what I'm saying?
We could do the same thing. Like we were just talking earlier. How many big companies you know come and buy YouTube channels after people done built them all up, and they'll come and just buy the channel, right or wrong?
Facts. All the time.
Exactly.
All the time.
We could do the same thing.
Right. Just in the business industry.
Exactly.
I mean, you can do that in the YouTube industry still as well. There's people that buy YouTube channels. There's people that buy literally those YouTube pages because then now they can, like you were talking about, you know, before we got on the podcast, they can create that media company. And now now with that media company, they have a bunch of different channels under them, and they're not managing it.
And they can give it to their creators and shit like that.
And you get an evaluation on the portfolio that you currently have, and now you can pull the money from those companies.
Right.
So like Mr. Beast, I know I don't know a lot about Mr. Beast. I know Brandon. He's the one who kind of like introduced me to him. I didn't even know much about him. I started looking more into him. He has other YouTube channels too.
Oh, we got a bunch of them.
I didn't even know that. But he has a whole portfolio. So something I was reading up, and this could be true, it could be wrong, I don't know. But the Mr. Beast games that he has, he actually took literally all of his YouTube channels and got a valuation for it. So based upon my YouTube channels, now he got a big investor that put into the actual games because based upon his YouTube channel and the amount of money that he's generating, he was able to get some type of currency based upon that. So it's like, bro, you can turn this. People may think this little YouTube channel that they have, you can turn that into something that's ginormous and become a billionaire off of it as well. But
and to go back to like the perseverance we talked about earlier, Mr. Beast took him 10 years to get 10,000 subscribers.
think about that, bro.
10 years. And he started as a kid. You know, he was like in high school, middle school, whatever. Like YouTube ain't even cool.
I didn't even know that.
He's making videos, getting no views. 10 years to get 10,000 subscribers.
That's
and now
wild.
he's doing everything that you just said. Like,
That's insane. I didn't even know that.
biggest YouTuber probably there is. And the best content too.
Yeah.
The shit he creates. Like he's helping people. You know, and I feel like that's an important thing. You know what I mean? It's just helping people. I feel like y'all have a business model that helps people. You know, like a lot of people can just make money off of messing people over or you know, giving people false information or, you know, but the people who actually take their time to build a business to help people, I definitely respect that. So I'm going to get deep with y'all and ask y'all a question. What's the hardest struggle you went through in your life?
That's a good question. The hardest struggle?
The hardest struggle that you went through in your life?
Have to be personal or business? Personal.
Personal.
Just being a man. For me, yeah. Because I don't think I was taught or I don't think I was taught how to be a man. So, and I don't think I learned it correctly. So just having like certain morals and responsibilities and knowing like how to really handle situations morally and responsibly and knowing like what you should be doing respectfully. Just a lot of growing up in that area. I think a lot of people struggle with that because like, I mean, morality is kind of skewed depending on, you know, your viewpoint of things. But just like being respectful and just having like priorities together. I think a lot of people was confused on like how to really prioritize their life and just, you know, being respectful to other people. So I think just an overall picture, I think that's a struggle for I think a lot of people too as well.
So why do you feel like that was a struggle for you?
Because I think sometimes we're taught life in the wrong kind of viewpoint. So we're only taught life on how to really live or grow up in our environment. So unless you really get out of that environment a lot and experience life from different viewpoints, you only know but so much. So a lot of us live in a box for a long time. So I feel like I was probably living in even though I probably went out and did things that most people didn't do, I felt I lived in a box a little too long, and I had to grow up, after learning and experiencing certain things. Like for example, even just working a 9 to 5 as long as I did, right? If I would have knew better about entrepreneurship or business ownership, I would have did that a lot earlier. But I was living in a box, like mentally, as far as on how to grow and how to be successful. So that's why I feel like a lot of us live in that box. Like we want things, but we scared to go out and try to look to get them. Because like he said earlier, what we don't know is what we don't know. But once you get a certain age, you can walk across the street. Like nobody's stopping you from walking across the street, right? But we still stay, I'm going to stay on this side of the street because I'm scared to go over there. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So we're comfortable living in this box. And then we'll make excuses for ourselves. Be like, I don't know. But it is your fault at a certain point. Once you're an adult, it's your fault for not knowing. Like when you get pulled over, just because you're ignorant to the law don't mean you ain't breaking the law. You should know the law.
Right.
So if you say, I want to make $1 million a year, what are you doing to make $1 million a year? You still sitting in that box. You're choosing to still sit in that box. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Do you feel like being in that box is the reason why you're so willing to never go back into it? Like, do you feel like that's one of the reasons that you are who you are today? Because maybe if you never were in that box, then would you be here? Would you be you?
No, yeah, that always shapes the person you are, and I think it's really about wanting more. Like I think people are just. I think a lot of people are selfish and don't want to work hard. That's just reality. A lot of people are selfish and don't want to work hard because they'll say, I want to do this for my daughter. I want to do this for my son. I want to do this for my family. But in reality, they don't because they're not doing it.
Right. They say it and they mean it when they say it. But when it's time to do it, they're like, I think I'll play the game. You know what I'm saying? I think I'll go do something else other than what they said they were going to do.
Exactly.
That's the reality. I mean, if you want to be real, I mean, we can sugarcoat it and say whatever, but that's really what it is.
I mean, there's a lot of distractions in front of us, right? Social media being one of the biggest ones. So even if it's not going to go play the game, all right, a lot of people will just sit down literally for hours and just scroll and scroll and scroll away
Endlessly.
And they're scrolling away and not learning anything.
Right.
So they'll scroll and they won't be scrolling or learning anything from the videos that they're watching because it's not information based. They're just watching it because it's funny. Yeah. They're watching it because they see some ass on the screen or a girl looks pretty or like those are the things that come up. So our biggest struggle sometimes is ourselves. So most people don't know that. So for me, my biggest personal struggle that I had was losing my mom when I was 14. And like after that, just learning how to. It wasn't even learning. It was me myself thinking that I had to mature or get more mature faster because it was just me and my dad in the house and my older brother. So I'm like, all right, I got 2 older people in the house. I got to become older now. So I think for me, I may have become mature a little bit faster than I needed to at some point. So then I started to realize that once you get into adulthood, there's no going back of being a kid. So you can make the mistakes as a kid. You can make the mistakes as a kid, and then when you become an adult, you don't like. Sometimes you took those lessons and those loss, what you were doing then, and when you become an adult, you no longer have to take those lessons. But I kind of did some of those things as an adult instead of as a kid because I was too mature at the time. So, I mean, it was a rippling effect for me.
What happened to
her? She died from a brain aneurysm, so it was kind of sudden.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was sudden. She was actually, I think I had a baseball game. I was supposed to. That was my actual first baseball game I was supposed to pitch at, and she was supposed to come to the game and obviously drive me home. But she didn't come at all. And I'm like, that's strange of her. She would at least have called me or something. But, got to the house and it was mayhem. So we had to go to the hospital and it was just all sudden. So, with it being so sudden, I felt like I took a lot of things in life sudden. So like everything I would do, I wouldn't even think. I would just do it in an instance. I think that's where that came from. So that when I became older, when I became like 21, 22 or so, I started to slow down and have more patience. And just really think about everything that I do. Like any decision that I make, I have to think about it. Because before it was too instant for me. Everything I would do would be too instant.
You said you were 14?
Yeah, I was 14.
Yeah, my mom died when I was 20. That's definitely hard, dog. I don't think people realize how hard it is to lose your mom over other people. It's just like a certain connection, like a certain type of loss that you have. Yeah. I feel like me personally, if it didn't happen, I wouldn't be who I am today. I wouldn't be as strong as I am today. Like when we talked about earlier about people who go through stuff like that, they can let it crush them. But you were younger, so I'm sure it did, and it crushed me too.
Yeah, it did. It did. To be honest, actually, like I was in all sports at that point, and that's because she put me in all of them sports, bro. It was hard getting through them sports
Because you were thinking about her.
Yeah. So, and then not only that, especially baseball for one, I purposely stopped going to baseball. Because in my head, as a youth, you like, yo, I was at baseball. So because I was at baseball, that's the reason why she passed away. Or that's the reason why I wasn't able to talk to her before she passed away or nothing like that. At one point I did.
Yeah.
So that's why everything was in an instant for me. Like everything I would do was instant. So whatever decision it was to be made, it was instantly made. It wasn't thought about. It wasn't anything. So I was like, all right, I'm a man. I could, just do it. If I'm gonna do something.
That's a good quality to be good at, though, in life. To be able to make a big decision in an instant.
Correct.
So you were kind of forced to.
Exactly. And it's a good quality when you become older.
Yeah.
But when you're younger, it's not.
Yeah, because you're not ready for that type of thinking.
Exactly. And that's what I started to realize. And then when I became 21, 22, I was like, all right, let me start to have more patience so that I can actually think about the decision. Yes, I could make that decision quick. Yeah. But at least now I can actually think about it. Think about exactly what it is to come or what's going to come behind the decision that I make. So yeah, that's really what it was.
Yeah, I definitely get that because I was the one in charge of my mom's medical decisions. So I definitely blame myself too. So that's definitely tough. Yeah. That's definitely tough. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, bro.
Nah, appreciate it. My condolences for your mom too.
Yeah, you too, though. So if you could give the world 3 things that you feel like it takes to be a millionaire, what are those 3 things?
Credit, know how to leverage debt. Know how to leverage debt the right way because you can always access more capital than you have. The billionaires use debt, and this is why I tell people, billionaires raise capital. They don't necessarily go in their wallet and they'll raise capital or they'll use the banks all the time. So know how to leverage debt the right way. I said it earlier, have a solid business plan. Have a solid plan. Not even just for business, personal and business. Have a plan of where you're going because if you don't have a plan, you're going to plan to fail. Like you can't just be running out here blind, and that's what most people are doing. They just live into the next day, to the next week, to the next paycheck. That's the problem. So then when something happens in the market or something happens in the world, you all messed up because you just been living to the next day. So have a plan, know how to leverage debt, and invest wisely, right? Do the work. Stop skipping the work. Like we think we can skip the work and still get success. Stop trying to get microwave results and skip the work. There is no way around not doing the work. You got to do the work. And that's it. Because if you don't, you're going to expose yourself in knowing it. When it happens, when stuff hits the fan, you're going to realize, I ain't really do the work to get here. I tried to skip steps and I'm going to have to end up going back and doing it anyway. So when you try to take the shortcut a lot of times, a lot of people realize they got to go back and do what they thought they was trying to get around. Because we done did it. I done did it plenty of times where I thought I was trying to get the fast way, the easy way, and I end up hitting a roadblock and realize, yo, I got to do it the right way regardless. This is the way you got to do it. So that's what I would say. Do the work, have a plan, and know how to leverage debt to invest.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people don't have a plan. For sure. We talked about it earlier. A lot of
Yeah.
people just like, they're like, oh, I got it. You know what I mean? And they just wing it. I'm going to wing it.
Facts.
Like,
I'm gonna say one more. It's a lot. It's hard to just say three. This is the last one.
It is, for sure.
Whatever you're trying to do, I don't care what you watching on YouTube. I don't care what they telling you. Invest to get around successful people that's doing what you're trying to do.
Your network.
Network. But people don't want to invest in. They think everything is supposed to be free. Just like, yo, I just met you. Just like if I met you today, tell me everything you know so I can make it too.
Yeah, I know, right?
Put some investment, put some work in so this person may want to help you out.
Yeah.
Whether that's equity, whether that's direct pay, whether that's do some type of investment into staying around you, because I know you're an expert on this YouTube stuff, so I want to stay close to the fire and try to get some knowledge from you. So whether I got to get mentorship, whether I got to just be around when you shooting episodes, whether you got a job opportunity, can I intern for you? Stay around the people, invest in getting next to the people that's doing it at a high level.
Ooh, that's a good one. I mean, everything you said was good, but man, that thing, I don't think people realize that. You got to. Like getting in them doors. Hey, look, man, if you're trying to get in the club and little babies in that bitch, I best believe it's going to be about $200 to get in to that area that breeze in for that VIP. I mean, you want to be around little baby, you're going to pay $200 or not, or you're going to be over there on the bottom like, hey, this little baby.
And Gen Pop.
You know what I'm saying? So what about you?
Number one is consistency. That's definitely one of the things you need to become a millionaire or billionaire. Consistency, and it doesn't have to mean you have everything you do you're consistent at. That doesn't mean that. But what you want to do in regards to your business, you need to be consistent at. Technically you should be consistent in all around, but humans are humans. We're fickle. So I understand that a lot of people are gonna fall off doing something. Like you could be consistent as hell in business, but not consistent in the gym. And that happens a lot. But you start to realize that even with the millionaires and billionaires, they'll wake up 6 a.m. every morning and still go to the gym. And it's not even because they're going to the gym because they want to work out and be the strongest person in the world. It's because they consistently, it's a consistent habit. It's something that they've instilled into their brain that, I got to wake up at 6. They could be going to bed at 2 a.m. in the morning. I still got to wake up at 6 and go to the gym.
And do it.
Even and they don't just do it neither. They put their all into it. So that's something that's one for sure, consistency. 2, perseverance. I mean, we spoke about these 2 things already, but persevere. You have to be able to persevere because the loss is gonna come, or a lesson. It's gonna come, and you have to be able to understand exactly what to do in that moment and how to keep pushing forward. How to keep like if you don't and you stop, then you did all of this for nothing. You could have went 3 years of thinking and making money, but on that 3rd year, something switched inside of that whole industry that you're in for that business. And now because of that, you are no longer going to make $1 million or even $100,000. So what are you going to do now? So you have to have that perseverance through. And then my 3rd thing is a plan. I mean, we're going to keep harping back on that. You have to have a plan.
Absolutely.
It's super important. Even if you don't have credit, cool. There's something called CDFIs, Community Developmental Financial Institution. CDFI. You can look it up on Google, CDFI locator, and you can look up financial institutions or CDFIs in your specific area. And with that business plan that we spoke about earlier, you can actually bring it to them, and they'll be able to give you funding based upon a startup business idea. And if you don't have the right idea, but they see that you have good bones to that idea, they'll give you a technical assistant associate that can actually help you write that plan out in full so that when they submit it to the underwriting, you will get that $50,000 or $100,000 that you're looking for. So have a plan.
Plan. You have to.
Consistency, perseverance, and a plan.
Yeah, I like that. So I know y'all from New York, so I got a question for y'all. I'm going to see y'all input on this. Do y'all feel like 9/11 was a plane?
Yeah.
Was it a plane or what?
Was it a plan or was it a plane? Which one?
Was it a plane?
Bro, we could be here all night, man. I think it was a plane, but
Yeah.
the buildings was planned to go down.
Yeah.
I think it was a plane, but the buildings was planned to go down.
Yeah.
The way they went down wasn't right.
It wasn't. The way they fell straight in like that,
Yeah.
you would think they would have fell over. If something's hitting it, then maybe it would fall over, not just.
It's just like the government with COVID and everything that happens. Years later, you finding out the truth, bro. It's the same thing, bro. So I mean, the government. When has the government not lied? The government tells you they are going to lie because these things are sealed and we're not going to tell you about them. They admitted they killed Malcolm X.
Yeah, and they just unsealed the documents with MLK, JFK.
RFK, yes. So the government is the government. I mean, everything, they do it for a reason. So, in my opinion, there was a lot of things that people don't know surrounded with that, but I don't know officially. So.
Well, see, I've heard it was a missile. That's the reason why I asked if it was a plane. A lot of people think it was a missile.
I don't know about that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know, though. You think it was missing?
I don't know. I mean, I don't live there. I can't really have an opinion unless I was there and I saw it. I'm like, man, I ain't gonna lie, it looked like a missile. But I don't know, as I didn't see it. But I've heard people say they think it was a missile. But,
I mean, even if you see it, so things like that, you looking at something, you probably don't even know what you looking at.
You don't know if it was a missile or a plane.
Even you looking up, you ain't gonna just recognize you. That's a missile. You probably gonna think it's a plane.
Yeah.
Until it blows up. You gonna be like, yo, what was that?
Yeah.
And then at the after effects, especially if you close, you ain't even gonna remember what the hell you just saw.
Because you just ran. You're like, boom, you ran. You're
Exactly.
like, what did I just fucking see?
Ain't nobody ever seen a missile in real life.
Right, just hitting the building in New York.
So you ain't gonna know if that's a missile or plane.
You got a point. You got a point. So you really can't go off of someone's opinion. But a lot of people were saying in New York, like if you watch the videos, they're like, man, I heard bombs going off afterwards. Like they were hearing
I
the
saw
bombs.
it from my junior high school. I was in junior high school. I saw it from the window. I could see
You
it
saw
from
the
window.
bombs?
I could see the. I could see the building. I could see the smoke. So you could see the city. So you could see, and the Twin Towers is the tallest buildings. So you can see it.
Yeah, from everywhere, right?
Not from everywhere, but from my viewpoint.
Right. Mm-hmm. So you feel like there was bombs that went off possibly after the plane?
I'm not sure,
It's an
bro.
engine. Is a plane in the engine?
No. He's saying if there was like planet bombs there,
In the building.
because the way the buildings went down. I don't know, bro. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
You think so?
I mean, I don't know. Me personally, I think that it's very possible that 9/11 was planned. There was bombs. And Building 7, which was another building that wasn't part of the two buildings, it went down too in a similar style of demolition.
Yeah.
So clearly something happened. And there's a lot of like secret information, like confidential information that was about banking and financing from our government, records that were destroyed.
Yeah.
That now we don't know where all this money's at. And that would be how we would have knew back then. I mean, I feel like there is something behind it. And I think that's a very small part of it, the Building 7 thing. There's more
There's
to it.
always something behind everything, bro.
The Pentagon, but it's like no parts of a plane. You got this hole in the Pentagon, no plane parts anywhere. Like it don't look like a plane crash. It look like a missile hit, more than likely.
It could have been.
Yeah, I mean, there was the way the plane. You got a 757 jet, 757 jet, and it's able to somehow crash on a building that's only so tall. Like that's you got to be a good pilot. You're a terrorist. You just hijack the plane, and it's a 757 jet, and you crash.
Do
into
sound like a
Pentagon.
movie.
And for real.
This is shit, right?
And you crash into a perfect and don't miss, right?
You love this.
Yeah.
You compare conspiracy theories then.
I mean, I don't believe in the word. I believe that there's some people who just believe everything they're told, and there's some people who question things. Gotcha. And a conspiracy theorist is a term that was created by the CIA to make us think that, oh, that's a title on that person. Oh, they're a conspiracy theorist.
Make them not believe you.
Yeah, so everything you say is bullshit, basically. Correct. But people don't realize that during COVID and all these different things, like the people who asked the questions were the ones who really knew the answers. You know, the people who didn't ask questions just got the shot, and they fell in line. They were scared. I wasn't scared of it. I didn't catch it. If I did, I didn't know. You know, I mean, if you're sick, then you probably don't want the flu. You know, or any virus. But if you're like a regular person, that ain't nothing to me. You know what I mean? But yeah, so I'm into that type of stuff. So one more question for y'all about that type of topic: the drones that were just out there. See, we didn't really see a lot of them out here. But did y'all hear anything about the drones in
Jersey?
In Jersey.
Yeah, I did. I heard about it. I think my wife was home. She was like, she heard about it, but she didn't see any drones or she didn't hear any drones. But she was like, she heard about it. They were saying it's China. It's all this other extraness. I don't really know. I wasn't there. I was actually, I think we were in Atlanta at that time or something. We were speaking at a conference or something. And yeah, I don't know. I don't have much on it. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, I mean they came out the water. That's the weird thing about it.
I didn't even, to be honest, I didn't even watch fully on exactly where they came from, who they came from. I just heard it was from China. That's all I heard.
It could have been. It's very likely, but you would think that they would shoot them down.
But yeah, they were bigger drones. They said they were.
Yeah, like size of cars, buses.
Yeah,
like small buses. That's crazy. So
yeah.
I mean, I don't know what's going on. This has been a crazy year altogether.
Yeah, I think so too.
It just started. But the crazy end of the year / beginning of the year. Yeah. I mean, that whole election was crazy. So do you guys feel like, from the financial standpoint, do you feel like the Trump being president, do you feel like that was better for money than Kamala winning?
Let me answer this correct before I get bashed by all the women and men.
Well, not to support Trump, but just like what's better.
No, I don't know if I could say it's better yet. He just got into office.
Right.
Yeah, he just got into office. Yeah. I mean, people are pledging money. SoftBank pledged $500 billion. Saudi Arabia pledged $600 billion. So, I mean, that's over $1 trillion right there. That's supposed to be coming into the economy over the next 4 years. But we don't know where it's going to go.
Is it better for who?
Yeah, who is it better for? Is it better for the wealthy? Is it better for the middle class? Well, there is no middle class. But is it better for the poor or is it better for the wealthy? Which one is it? Like,
well, we know it's going to be better for the wealthy. That's just off the table. But is it better for the lower class and for rebuilding the middle class?
In my opinion, I'm hoping it could be. Yeah. I'll be optimistic in that. Whether it was Kamala or Trump, I'm hoping, and we don't even know if we would have gotten that investment if it was Kamala, right? We don't know because she wasn't elected. So at this point, I think right now, for everybody in the world is for them to start to focus on themselves, but come together at the same time, right? Because if you don't, then you're just going to get left behind because they're now the people that are actually succeeding. And as we saw in COVID, people isolated themselves. So now something similar like that can happen now because of just isolation of people that are not on the same side as you. So I feel like isolation can happen. People can start to separate themselves just from other people just because. So, I mean, like I said, we never know. We never know until it actually manifests out throughout
some time
at least a
passes.
year. Yeah, I think at least a year before we can even tell if it's good for the economy financially.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I hope it is. I don't know.
I hope it is. This is all you.
Oh, to answer that question, well, we all know like his goal with this administration is to be more beneficial for business owners, entrepreneurs.
Absolutely.
Especially with how him and Elon is, buddy. They you know what their goals are. So knowing that this is their goals, know what to do with your life, know what direction you should be heading in. So that's what I was talking about with understanding, how to build wealth. Like, so he wants to help real estate investors because he's a real estate investor. He wants to help business owners grow their wealth even more. So maybe you should start getting into business, start getting into investing in stocks. He wants American business to bounce back and soar. So understanding that, at least you should know, if this is the direction it's going, this is where I need to be going. no term is really, I don't like to say, is beneficial for the poor. Being poor is nothing beneficial about it. So it's really just having the information and knowledge on how to get to that next step.
Right. So what you're saying is that if you're trying to be a millionaire, you're trying to figure things out, the opportunity's there. Y'all got to get with them.
Seize the opportunity.
And get them millionaire essentials. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
To get that money.
Absolutely.
Yeah. To prepare yourself, because if things do boost up for the entrepreneurs, if you're not an entrepreneur, you're going to get left behind.
Exactly.
So it's time to figure it out, to figure out what works for you. Get your plan together. Get your credit together. Get your plan together. And then get with y'all. And figure out how to get your money together so that plan can actually be more than just a plan. There's a lot of people with plans, you know. There's not as many people who have you know, executed their plans.
I was about to say that. A lot of people plan but don't execute. We give you the essentials to become a millionaire. We're giving you the essentials to become a millionaire. I mean, that's simply what it is. Millionaire Essentials.
For sure. So if y'all could speak to the kids right now and give them some advice about some things that could have helped you growing up, what would you say?
I would say don't limit yourself, and read. Don't just watch, read, because there's hidden gems in a book. Watching, it's a lot of perception. It's a lot of hidden tricks. It's a lot of tricks by you just watching. People market things and not the real things. People market a perception or image. So what you've seen is not really what you're seeing. So we was kind of just talking about the conspiracy stuff, right? What you're seeing is not really what you're seeing, especially on TV. But there's a lot of the truth in books. So to kids, I would definitely tell them to read and study the wealthy people that you want to become. And execute, right? Don't put a limit on yourself and don't settle. Because a lot of us are in positions because we settled to be there. So we really wanted to be this, but we may have failed and be like, you know what? All right, let me just do this.
This will work.
Yeah, this will work. I'll just settle for this. But reality, you don't want to do that.
No.
So don't settle. Read and just keep your mind open because there's really no limits on what you could do.
For sure. Great answer. What about you?
I was trying to think about the perfect answer, but I mean there really isn't a perfect answer. I think they should not shy away from hard work, right? And hard work doesn't mean you have to go out there and labor and be out, doing whatever it is that you're trying to do for 12, 14 hours and laboring. You can work smart and it still be hard work because it's taking more time than you expected, right? So a lot of people will stop just because, hey, it's not working right now. Like we talked about the microwave era. So they'll say, hey, it's not working right now. Or in a year, hey, it's not working right now. So they'll be like, all right, I'll just move on to something else. It might take you 2 years before you even catch on to whatever it is that you're actually doing. It might take you 3. It might take you 4. But like we said before, put in that hard work. Like I said, it doesn't mean actually like going out there and laboring. You could be working as smart as possible. You could be using ChatGPT, AI, all this stuff to learn faster and process information faster and execute more effectively and plan better. But that still doesn't mean it's going to happen right away. So do the hard work and actually taking the time, the patience to actually go ahead and say, all right, cool. It didn't work this year, but I know that if I keep planning and understanding how to tweak my plan, then in 2 years, I'm going to get it. Or in 3 years. I know I'm going to be a millionaire, but it's going to take this much amount of time. So that's what I would really say for sure.
I agree.
Yes, sir.
So where do you all see yourself in like 5 years? Like not just doing what you do now, but what do you see yourself doing outside of what you do now?
Continue to grow as a person, number one. Continue to grow as a person. Secure my family generation. That's basically what I'm working hard for, to make sure that's, secured. So, they don't have to worry about or have to figure it out, right? They already have a leg up, right? They already have something set where my daughter could decide to do what she wants to do, and she don't have to settle or worry about struggling or worry about, damn, I wish I would have, or I wish this, or if my parents would have known. like a lot of us. You know what I'm saying? So give our daughter a leg up, and just help other people. Like help other people with the knowledge and information to be like, you don't have to do this. Like there is more out there. Like you can really think further than what you could see. Like you have your kids' kids. Because that's really where things could change. It has to start from somewhere. And like generational wealth, people don't understand what it really is. Like it started from great. And just by that great grandfather having a piece of land or having a property or passing out something is a reason why your father or you are probably in a certain position and you don't even know it. Like it's a reason why your family probably done had a house that was in the family for 2 generations. Grandma's house or something like that, right? That's the start of generational wealth.
Right.
So it has to start somewhere. You may not become a super millionaire during your lifetime, but you're setting it up for your last name to be worth something. A lot of people's last names are not worth nothing. So start thinking like that. Yo, you want your last name to be worth something.
I like that.
In the next 5 years, definitely growing my family trust that I have. I mean, growing as a person as well, but growing my family trust that I have, getting more assets in there, for sure, so that, if and when I do pass, it and I have those directives on what I want the family to do, what I want the kids to do, what I would like them to inherit, how much I would like them to inherit over a period of time. So just really creating that family trust like the Rockefellers, and creating that generational wealth. I mean, that's really the biggest thing for me in these next 5 years. Obviously growing Millionaire Essentials as well, right? But also having other investments, because like the wealthy do, you got to keep investing. If you don't, then you're just going to stop. And that's it. So yeah, just getting more assets. Like I said before, more real estate, more businesses that are generating income, throwing it into the trust and just keep building upon that trust.
For sure. Well, I definitely enjoyed sitting down with y'all.
Yes, sir.
Definitely had some great game, no doubt. So where can they find you on social media, Instagram, YouTube, or anywhere like that?
Definitely Brandon the Provider on Instagram. We got our Facebook page, Millionaire Essentials. We got our YouTube, Millionaire Essentials. Any type of Millionaire Essentials, we are going to come up, which is perfect. That SEO is working.
Yes.
If you're trying to get capital and you're trying to scale your business, info.millionaireessentials.com.
Yes, sir. You can find me on Instagram, Tevin Facey. You can find me on Facebook, Tevin Facey, LinkedIn, Tevin Facey. And like I said, Facebook, anywhere that you type in Millionaire Essentials, we're going to pop up. Definitely, if you're also looking to get your credit fixed, right, because you have that plan, but your credit just isn't right now, go ahead and type 917-809-5707 and text us credit, and we'll be able to help you out.
All right. Well, I appreciate y'all coming through.
Appreciate you, man.
No doubt.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you.
Yeah. Make sure y'all go follow them, rock with them, and share on the next episode. Yeah.
It's time to let it flow. It's time to let it flow.